Bonjour, and welcome to another episode of World History Facts for Dummies. Today, we will let them eat cake! And in the meantime, we'll discuss the French Revolution. Welcome back, loyal viewers, and today, get ready for one of the bloodiest...
Was it World War I?
No. Where was I? Oh, yeah. One of the bloodiest, most influential...
Ooh, I know what it is. It was World War II.
Would you please shut up for 8 minutes? I'll tell you about it soon. One of the bloodiest, most influential revolutions in the history, the French Revolution. In the 18th century, France was a rich and prosperous country. However, they had a problem. The rich paid no taxes and enjoyed their lavish lifestyles with fancy shoes, huge homes, and plenty of food. The rich people, or the kings and the nobles, the system was terrible for the lower income workers because all of the taxes fell onto them. By 1789, France had fallen to a deep, deep debt due to their role in the American Revolution. At this point, King Louis XVI was spending tons of money to try to pay off a national debt. This led to France doing the equivalent of declaring bankruptcy. To make matters worse, weather led to a terrible harvest that year, causing food prices to increase and food supply to decrease. The poor of the country became poorer, while the king showed no sign of losing money. Make sure to tune into our other video. The king and his wife, Marie Antoinette, continued to live in the lavish palace of Versailles. The nobles, clergy, and royalty remained well-fed and comfortable, while the peasants starved because of the extreme prices for food. To try and soothe some tension, King Louis called a meeting of the Estate General, which was basically a large parliament made up of representatives from each estate. The first estate included the clergy, the second estate was the nobles, and the third estate was everyone else, mainly the poor peasants who were most affected by the debt. After being locked out of the meeting by the king, the third estate decided to hold their own meeting at a tennis court. There, they swore to the tennis court oath, an oath that stated that they would not give up fighting until a constitution was established in France. The actual fighting started when the revolutionaries decided to storm the Bastille, a prison, to try to get some prisoners free and get guns in 1789. After that, nobles started to pack up and leave because they wanted no part in the revolution. The king and queen tried to do the same thing, but they were caught and returned to Paris.
So wait, you're telling me that the king tried to leave his own throne?
Yeah, they were chickens. But this was seen as an act of abdication. After abolishing the regime, the National Assembly created the Declaration of Rights of Man. The list of rights applied to everyone from peasants to kings. The declaration claimed that everyone had the right to property, security, and liberty.
That sounds an awful lot like what we have.
Wait, do you hear that? It's time for our open letter to a student. Let's go.
Bonjour, and welcome to this episode's Open Letter. Les Mis is an extremely popular novel, movie, and musical written by Victor Hugo. Contrary to widely accepted beliefs, the movie, the book, and the musical were not based on the French Revolution at all. It's post-Revolution France, and it takes place during the June 5th Rebellion.
And now, back to the main video. During this time, King Louis and Marie still resigned at their palace of Versailles.
You're telling me they still lived in that giant, lavish palace while the peasants starved to death on the streets?
Yeah, until 1789 when a rumor was spread that Marie Antoinette was storing food at the palace. This led to the Women's March, an event where armed peasant women stormed the palace of Versailles and demanded that the King Louis and Marie move from Versailles to the capital, Paris, which they ended up doing.
I'd be afraid of those women too.
At this point, not much had changed, but that was all about to change with the Jacobins. Jacobins were the most radical revolutionists called for a French republic. Unlike the National Assembly, who wanted to create a constitutional monarchy, an unruly revolt, the National Assembly fired upon a crowd of Jacobins and ended up killing close to 50 people.
But wait, wasn't the National Assembly supposed to speak for the people?
This was bad news because the National Assembly was supposed to stand for the people, as you just said, basically. Leopold II, who was the ruler of the Holy Roman Empire and Maria's brother, was starting to get worried about all the revolution going on in France because he did not want it to spread and lose his job as king. He then joined with King William Frederick II of Prussia, instituted the Declaration of Planets, which stated that the French monarchy would be restored. Louis then decided to invade Austria in an attempt to get more food for the French people, but it backfired when Prussia allied with Austria and Louis encouraged it. This made Louis look like he was against the revolution, which he most certainly was, leading the National Assembly to do away with the monarchy and hold elections for new leaders and create a republic. It was then decided that they would try King Louis XVI. He was found guilty and was sentenced to death by guillotine. Cheong! The king's death led to a time period known as the Terror, an especially bloody period of the French Revolution. The Committee of Public Safety started a guillotine killing spree, led by their head, Robespierre. Over 16,000 people were killed by the guillotine, including Marie Antoinette and Robespierre himself. The revolution slowed down a bit. However, France was still at war with other countries. Surprisingly, they won all these wars, thanks to Napoleon Bonaparte. He then became the first consul of France. France had made a whole circle, accomplishing very little with the revolution, as Napoleon was basically an emperor of still practiced absolute rule in a sense.
Wait, so you mean to tell me they went through a revolution to get someone who practiced absolute rule again?
Not to mention that after Napoleon left, France restored the monarchy. Though it wasn't absolute rule like before, it was constitutional like the Revolutionary of 1789 wanted. Though there's a lot of controversy over what the effects of the French Revolution are, one thing is for sure, it will forever be an important part of history. Thanks for watching, and make sure you tune into our other videos, Nationalism and Absolute Rule. That's all for World History for Dummies. See you next time.
This video is Joyce approved.